Thank you so much. And I welcome all of you and our viewing audience. And you have not just tuned in, and you are not just here by chance. We are here by divine appointment. Don't you agree? Yes. We heard the call and we answered. Now, my dear friend of over 30 years, and it's interesting because he used to do a lot for our ministry in San Diego. And then, I haven't heard from him in 20 years, and I heard from him on Facebook, my dear Bob Trask, who wrote this fabulous book, Romancing the Soul. And it is such a wonderful read, and he shares from his own experiences in such a poignant way. But I love what he said on this chapter, because this is the chapter, Real Love is Power. Real love is power. He says, in the last chapter we found how beneficial it was to choose self-love instead of unworthiness. Self-love, as on the triangle, is the greatest gift one can ever experience. It is allowing you to bathe in the universe's deepest and most nourishing energy. It is ecstasy that is beyond description. As I'm sure you know, thousands of songs and books and movies and works of art have tried in vain to capture that magic of love. Yet it remains as elusive and hard to capture as a morning rainbow. Some things can only be experienced, and love is one of them. My friend, Chuck Nicklin, the famous photographer that he is, he and I were standing on the shore in San Diego. It was such a perfect, perfect moment. He says, I said, Chuck, why aren't you taking a picture of this? And he smiled, Bob, there is no way to take the picture of what we are seeing and feeling here. We have to just anchor it, this inside, and remember it as we anchor it within us. So this morning, as we discuss romancing the soul, and that real love is power, that when the power of love replaces the love of power, man will have a new name, and it is peace. It is the energy of knowing that we are not here by chance, and that with all the songs and the media and the energy that's been written about love energetically, we know that it is something that we feel, that we can't intellectualize it or hypothesize it. We have to know that when we release and let go and let God do what God does best by means of us, there is a certain forgiveness process in order to experience real love. Now his foundation, Bob Trask's foundation, is called ARIS, in which he takes an acronym with the A is acceptance, the R is respect, the A is attitude, and the last of it is total and complete knowingness about our spirituality. That this energy in the universe is the ground of being. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, stated that love points the way and law makes the way possible. And what that means is there is a cause and effect relationship on the planet. Love points the way. Remember, love isn't just looking at each other. It's looking together in the same direction, according to Emerson. And as we come together through our similarities, we grow through our differences. And one of my favorite stories, and I've done a lot of work on sacred mythology and how fairy tale informs our lives from the time that we are children. In fact, we know someone who rewrote fairy tales and nursery rhymes to have a positive meaning, and she did a fabulous job. But when we think of that wonderful fairy tale, Beauty and the Beast, and how her father came home, if you recall it, and said, I met this beast, and unless I picked a white rose, and unless I, come back in 7 days, he wants to kill me. Or, interestingly enough, I can send one of my daughters. And I'm just not willing to do that. And so Beauty, who loves her father unconditionally, says, I'll go, Father. And he said, no, you won't. So she sneaks out at dawn. She gets on the magic horse. It takes her to the castle of the beast. We know the story of how grotesque he is. He has self-hatred. He has feelings of unworthiness. He knows and he says, just call me beast. Do not call me my Lord. I am an ugly beast. And eventually she sees through that, doesn't she? She sees through the soul. And when she weeps real tears and says, I love you, the magic spell is broken and he arises to the truth of his own being, and that is that he is a beloved Son of God in whom God is well pleased. And that divine feminine and divine masculine come together, and each and every one of us have that within us, that we are accessing that. In fact, our wonderful, and I was sharing Wednesday night with our Brian Kamali, when he went into the ancient chant, and it was on Hawaiian spirituality. When he went into that ancient chant, the whole room lifted. There was a shift in energy. It was so powerful. It was primal. That we come together through our similarities. We grow through our differences. That we have that within us that is greater than that which resides in the world, that looks past ugliness, that looks past appearances, that looks past all of the effects that show up in our life to the truth of who and what we are. And when someone reflects that back to us, we arise in that knowingness and that beauty. And he said, the curse is gone. And that is a curse of our age. Psychiatrists, psychologists, rabbis, ministers, counselors, life coaches that receive those that do not feel good about themselves, and it was reinforced in childhood to break those bonds and to realize, yes, the sins of the first and second generations were visited upon the third and fourth, that we inherited those feelings of unworthiness that I don't deserve. And also I want to say, the energy of joy from the first and second generations were also visited upon the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. That we are shifting. There is a new genetics. It's called epigenetics, and it's acknowledging that genetics respond to our thoughts, that thoughts are things and words are molds. Bruce Lipton wrote the wonderful book, The Biology of Belief, and it's so wonderful to have scientists acknowledging what metaphysicians have been taught and always known, that all is energy and everything responds to energy through the power of this thought, that we are creating neural passageways that come from a place of knowing that I am a son and daughter of God and very good, that as children come in with me saying the sound of your name, it is safe in the 4 years. When I say your name, it is safe mouth. In the words of my mouth, we know, and our soul can magnetize those energies. And that's all right too, because everyone is on right where, and we have an energy together. We are meant to live and to love and to express and to experience, and that joy is my first clue. That my ego has got when I am in peace, and the emotion, so the thing as we are ever going to get. I am in that place in you. There truly is only one of us. It is the love, is the opportunist. Because to our regret, no frequency, shame and on the emotional scale. It's about where the fourth hour, he says, the highest vibratory frequency is the love energy, is the love vibration, and to allow the universe to unfold just the way it is and just the way it isn't. And the day that I resigned, and I was so pleased from being general manager of the universe. It felt so good, right? It just felt so good. There's like, oh, a huge weight is lifted. The burden is now released. I can live and let live, and I don't have to, fix anything or fix anybody or fix any relationship that comes in. I can now let it go, because you know what? I know that my God is so big and so much energy filled with my God that I can turn it over. And when I turn it over, I'm recognizing there is a power in the universe greater than I am, and I can use it, and I choose to. Now, in this wonderful book, Romancing the Soul, Bob Trask talks about his very best friend. He was his cousin, and they were blood brothers, We used to even do that, when I was a child. We'd, cut ourselves, and we'd get our little thumbs together, and we were blood sisters or blood brother sister or whatever, and they were blood brothers, and they loved each other, and they stayed up in the wee hours, and they had their flashlights in bed reading and giggling. And when Bob